What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fear Alchemist. I'm your host, Ben Harris. I'm happy you're here. There is a message in my heart that it feels like it's bursting out of me. And I just need to show up and share it with you. Excuse me. And it's been coming up a lot with my clients. It's been coming up with people on social media, in the workshops that I'm doing, the conversations that I'm having. It's just been showing up a lot, and it just feels like it's been bubbling up to this boiling point, and I'm just hearing so much of it that I just want to, like, at the same time shake all of you and say, you know, like, and help you and realize, but obviously I can't do that, but there's just like this part of me um that, you know, I believe in you so much, and I see who you really are, and I see what you're capable of. And so when I see you doubt yourself, it frustrates me, to be honest. But that's my own work. But anyway, so if you haven't already, please subscribe, please follow on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, subscribe, leave a review, all the things. It'd be super helpful to push this out to, people who are also looking for this wisdom to become free from fear, or just share it with a friend that this would be helpful for. So today's topic is all about imposter syndrome. And what I've been hearing so much is, these thoughts of, who do you think you are? Um, because you have these big dreams, you have these big goals, and you have this feeling inside of you. It doesn't even make sense, right? You have this gift, you have this voice, this feeling, something calling you forward. It doesn't make sense. Like, logically, it doesn't make sense. But in your heart, in your body, in your soul, there's something pulling you. And maybe you've denied it for a long, long time. Maybe you're just becoming aware of that voice, but I know that it starts to eat at you. The more you suppress it, the more you push it down, the more you silence that voice, pretend that it's not there, it just gets more painful. And I know that change occurs when finally the pain is greater than or worse than your fear, right? There's this Tony Robbins quote that says, change occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And fear is the anticipation of change. And so that's, like, I just know this feeling you're going through, and the thoughts of, what makes you so special, to think that you can help people, to think that what you have to say and offer matters. Like, who are you to share your ideas and gifts with the world? Like, no one's going to listen to you. Um, you know, like, you're not a neuroscientist, you're not a famous athlete, you're not some renowned expert, you don't have tons of followers, and you think to yourself, I'm just me, like, I'm just myself. All I have is my heart. And the main thing that I want to tell you throughout this message is that that's all you need. All you need is you. You don't need these external validations or qualifications. Like, those don't hurt, and go get those if it's fun and expansive and you feel called to those things. But if you're looking for those things to qualify you, to finally feel like you're good enough, like, spoiler alert, those things don't make you feel qualified anyway. Like, I was just talking to a client in the past week, and they are so smart, so qualified, have decades of experience, but they still doubt themselves because deep down they still don't think they're an imposter, right? Deep down, they're not using their real voice. Deep down, they're still, posting on social media in the way that experts tell them to, in the way that they feel like they should do it. Um, they're essentially pretending to be someone, even if it's still partially them, to earn acceptance, to earn approval, to earn love, because they're trying to do the thing that they're supposed to do, to get clients, to get followers, to, have people like the message, to not ruffle feathers. And they also had this deep belief that, once they become successful, once they get lots of visibility and attention, that would make them arrogant, because they're judging people, you know, who act like they have it all together, like they're a know-it-all. So there's this belief that, they'd be arrogant or polarizing. And I know that's part of this too, is like you guys probably think that you don't want to push people away. You don't want to be misunderstood. You don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. But I'm going to tell you right now, like that's part of your job. Like it's a necessity. It's not even an option. And this doesn't come from a place of, I'm going to try and piss people off, because that's from an unhealed, fearful place, right? Because you're fighting against something that's coming from the victim part of yourself. But if you're when you're fully authentically you, then you are going to trigger some people. You are going to be polarizing, and that's a good thing. Because if you look at just what polarity is, right? Like if you look at magnetism, you have negative, you have positive, and in that field is how magnetism is generated. Like you need positive and negative. You can't just have one. In order for there to be attraction, in order there for to be a magnetic field, right? You have to be drawn to one of those things. So that magnetism that you're looking for, simultaneously scared of, probably, is like in that full truth. Once you accept that, once you just uh, express and speak that to the world, um, that's where that success is going to come from. And there was another client I was talking to too about their resistance to posting and showing up on social media. They haven't been getting clients in a month or two. And there was one thing that really triggered them. And it was called one of their friends or colleagues posted this on social media, and it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm sharing it on my screen right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But if you're just listening, I'm gonna describe it. So essentially on the y axis, so the up and down part of this graph is confidence. So the higher you go, the more confident you are. Then on the x-axis, the horizontal line, is competence, like what you actually know. And so and there's this graph. So as soon as you start something new, you get a lot of confidence and it goes super, super high. It's, really high. But you don't have a lot of competence, and then it skyrockets down. Um, and so that high that I mentioned before, when you have high confidence and low competence, is called the peak of Mount Stupid, and you go down, um, and this is called the Valley of Despair. And then from this point, it's called the slope of enlightenment, and it slowly, gradually increases over time. It increases with your confidence, and then your confidence begins to grow, and then you have the plateau of sustainability. And on the surface, this makes sense. Um, like when you start something, you have a lot of confidence, right? It's like when you learn something exciting, you read a book, you take a course, whatever, you're like, oh man, I know everything about this topic and I want to share it. And why this triggered this other client of mine is because they felt like, oof, like, am I that person? Am I, because I'm so new to this, am I delusional? Am I being irrational? Should I not be telling people, like, am I not smart enough or experienced enough to be helping people? And why I wanted to talk about this is like this is true on some level and also untrue on not another level. Uh, because what the 3D matrix world is going to look at, right, is just straight up time. It's like, do you have a degree? Do you have years of experience? Which matters. But at the same time, speaking from my own experience, is like when I first decided to become a fear coach, this was almost 4 years ago. On the surface, I didn't have any qualifications, right? I didn't have like a psychology degree. I'm not a neuroscientist or a PhD or some special certification that says, okay, you can talk about fear now. And I was like, I'd questioned myself. I was like, am I the person to like talk about this? Even though it was so clear in my soul, like this information about fear just kept growing and growing and growing. And I just talked about it and talked about it. And I was learning so much about it. And then I even realized, like, even throughout my corporate years, I had been talking about this thing for so long. And even my leadership journey in the corporate world, like, you know, coaching in the corporate world was like my favorite thing of the job, and I didn't really know it at the time, but looking back, I can see I was being prepared for what I'm doing now. Like I got so much experience coaching people and asking questions and getting them to their goals. And what I realized at that time, 4 years ago, was that whoa, like I'm really good at helping people achieve their goals, and the thing that's in between them and their goal is their fear, because fear is the ultimate barrier to your success, to your personal growth, to reaching your goal. And so I didn't realize at the time that I was helping people, dissolve that barrier. But now I could see it so clearly. And I could see that, oh man, like what comes easily to me does not come, it for sure does not come easy to most other people. And so we tend to discount what comes easy to us, right? But usually what comes so easily and naturally to us is uh, it's highly valued to other people. And so back to this graph is that of course you're going to be super excited when you're doing this thing, and you might not have quote unquote like real world tangible experience in the thing, but it's not what you do, it's who you are. And I think this is where it gets mixed up, is like in the normal societal world, right? Is this this is, you can't quantify like a soul God-given gift and purpose. Like this is just who you are. So you don't need to prove it. You don't need to qualify it. No one can tell you that you're good enough to do it, because just like all these two clients that I'm mentioning are highly gifted, highly capable, amazing coaches. But they doubt themselves, and we all do. Um, and so that's normal. But so I just really wanted to like bring this to the surface, because it's so easy to see that like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Like, am I fooling myself? Am I not as good as I think I am? Uh, but I just want to reiterate that it's who you are. And so yes, go ahead and get certifications and all that stuff. But when it comes to your soul's gift, like that doesn't need to be qualified or quantified or certified or putting like a stamp on it, because it's who you are. And that's all you need is yourself. And that's all you need is your heart. Um, because there's so many people just waiting to hear what you have to say. And trust me, I get it. Like the story I told you with the fear thing, it felt scary just to start like owning that. But when I owned it, I signed 4 clients in a week, which was crazy to me. And the first client I worked with, I didn't know what I was going to do. And this might sound irresponsible, on some level it might. And to the logical mind, it is going to seem irresponsible and just straight up stupid, because, but I just knew like in my heart, I was like, I know what to do. Like, and then looking back in the real world, right? Like there was a lot of experience that actually prepared me for this. And I'm guessing you have that too. Like you actually have a lot of experience that you're just not seeing, that you're, um, like it's just invisible to you, because you think it has to be a certain way. And you have this belief deep down that really it doesn't matter how much experience and knowledge and training you have, no matter how much you have, you still won't be good enough. You still won't be smart enough. You're still scared of being seen in that visibility and being successful. So it doesn't matter how much you have anyway. So no matter if you have all the training in the world or no training in the world, if this is resonating with you, right, it's like you just have to go down and address those fears and those deep rooted beliefs that are keeping you stuck and keeping you small and keeping you silent and withholding your gift from the world. Um, because, yeah, back to the story that I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew what I was doing at the same time. And my mind was like, dude, this is scary. You don't have a plan. But my heart was like, you know what to do. And I showed up on that first call. I was prepared. I put some notes down and some questions down and some exercises that we could do to make my mind feel at ease and safe. But I just showed up on that first call, and my heart was right. Like I knew exactly what to do, because I had been doing it for years before. but also it was so natural to me. It's who I was born to do, and I loved it so much, and I still do. Being on the other side and holding space for people and asking them questions and helping them realize the truth of who they are and moving through and dissolving that fear that's been just keeping them so stuck and disempowered for so long. That's who I'm born to be. And I know that's who you are born to be and whatever you're feeling called toward, because it's just who you are. I don't know how else to say it. It's who you are. And I know a lot of you are coaches and healers or want to be online entrepreneurs or have other ideas and gifts and businesses you want to start. And one thing I've heard a lot is that the worst thing that could, happen for you is that you muster up the courage to finally do the thing and then crickets. It's silent. There's no response. No one says, wow, that's so good. No one signs up. You know, potential prospects or clients are ghosting you. And I'm not going to lie, that sucks. I've had that happen to me plenty of times. But the other part that you probably don't see or anticipate is that it goes really well. You show up, you launch it, you create it, you share it, and it's received really well. Like people start to praise you for it and they're saying how awesome it is. And I know this might not seem like it, but this is equally scary to your nervous system and your subconscious mind. And this happened to someone the other day on a group call that I was leading, and they realized that they did the scary thing. They finally shared it and launched this website and this project. And they got so much positive feedback that it scared them. They were so uncomfortable with all of the compliments and attention, and their first immediate thought was, who are you to be getting all of this attention? Why do you matter? What makes you so important? And this triggers the same fear as if you were to fail. And I point this out because you think that's just like, oh no, like I'm afraid of it not working, of no one responding, of no one reaching out, of no one validating me, of failing. And I'm like, no, like you're just as afraid of success too. You're afraid of it succeeding because deep down you also believe that you don't deserve it, that you're not worthy of it. And so if you are successful and it blows up and you get followers or you become successful and get clients, make money, whatever your gauge of success is, that goes against your belief. And so your mind, your subconscious mind, will do everything it can to make sure you don't reach that because it feels unsafe. It is not who you are. If you believe that I don't matter, that my gifts aren't important, that I don't deserve to be here, that I'm worthless, whatever it is, then being successful is going against that, right? It feels like a threat. And so the closer you get to that, you're going to self sabotage yourself a lot of times unconsciously. And so just as much as you don't want to fail because that hurts and that triggers the same belief, I don't matter, I'm not important, I'm worthless, whatever, you don't want to disprove that as well. So this is a really honestly quite insidious way of why people feel so stuck. They feel like no matter how hard I try, I just feel like I'm in the same freaking spot. Like, I'm not completely failing. I'm just getting by. I feel like I'm doing the thing, but you're not really doing the thing because you are afraid of failure and success and you're stuck in the middle and you swing to extremes and then you end up back in the middle. You self-sabotage, you feel stuck, you get ping pong pushed and pulled back and forth, and it's overwhelming, it's confusing. Like you feel constricted and compressed. And I totally get it. It's frustrating. And this solution to all this, like I already mentioned, is that it's not about what you do, it's who you are. Um, and to remember that you're meant for this, that you chose this already, that this is who you are. And so when it's like, who am I? When what makes me so special is like, you. You are you. There's no one else but you. And there's so much abundance. There's so much attention. There's limitless resources and eyeballs for all of us to be living our gift. And that's the world that I believe in. That's the world that I'm co-creating, is that we show up in our gift, every single person. We get paid for that abundantly. We help people and we love it and it's fun and we get paid to be ourselves and it's just mutually beneficial. Everyone's winning. And that's the world that I'm co-creating. Um, and if this vibes with you, then I invite you to come on the journey. Right? Is if you believe in this, or if you know, even if you don't really believe it in your mind yet, but you know it's possible in your heart, then I invite you to come join my next group coaching program. It's called Fear Alchemy for Coaches and Creators. Our first call is on the 22nd of February. So there's only 15 spots, and I'll put the link in the description, and so you can go check it out. But I know a lot of what we're going to be talking about is this of, you're afraid to share on social media because people, what they might say or think about you, you feel unqualified or not smart enough. You are procrastinating. This is such a big one, right? You keep waiting for the right moment. You're waiting for things to be perfect. You feel like you need a website or you need this or that and it's like, no, you don't need any of that. It's just time to do the damn thing. Like no more waiting. Um, and another big one that I've heard people talk about is like you have so many ideas, but you never really see them through. That's a big sign of, procrastination and fear, trying to keep you safe from failure, from success, from rejection, from judgment, all the things. So I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out and learn more about it. But registration is now open and it closes on February 15th. And there are only 15 spots available. So I imagine this will fill up. There's two types of offers with this, where there's 10 spots for regular group coaching. And then if you want extra one-on-one support, there's 5 spots available for that. So if you want extra one-on-one support for a steal of a deal, from me plus the group coaching, there's 5 of those available. So again, I'll put all the link in the description in the show notes so you can go check this out. If this is calling to you, if you want to overcome your fear once and for all, if you are hiding your gift, you are silencing yourself, you're not sharing, you're not fully owning who you are, then it's time to believe that you are capable of anything, that you matter, that you are meant for this, that you are worthy of being paid for your gifts, that you are here to make a difference, and that you are powerful and limitless. So if you want to come join an amazing group of people and learn how to love your fear, not just fight it or try and eliminate or eradicate it, but truly love it, because that's the whole difference. And learn how to address those beliefs at the core, those limiting beliefs, those false beliefs, those that scary part of you that feels um, that you have been avoiding. That's actually the part that you need to address, because the secret sauce you've been waiting for, like, you will discover that when you befriend your fear and the other painful parts of yourself, you'll discover that they hold the secrets that allow you to fully step into your purpose. So the exact thing that you've been avoiding is what holds the key to your freedom, to do the thing that you want to do, to be who you are meant to be, to share your gift, to start the business, to make money, to be successful. It's on the other side of your fear. So if you're ready for that, come join me, and I'd love to have you. And hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions. My Instagram is at the Fear Guy if you don't follow me already. And I'd love to have you on YouTube if you're not, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go listen on all the things, subscribe, follow, leave a review, share it with a friend, do whatever your heart feels called to do. And I appreciate you all so much for being here, for listening, for investing your time into this. And I swear I've said this so much on this podcast, but you are meant for this, truly. That thing inside of you that feels crazy, it feels delusional, it doesn't make sense. It's going against possibly what society and your parents and peers are telling you to do. It's not the smart thing. It might just seem so stupid or so silly. You're meant for it. Truly, you are meant for it. So follow the feeling in your heart. Um, and, it's just going to keep, if you keep pretending to be someone else, you just keep rejecting yourself anyway. And they're not really accepting the real you anyway. That's the kind of crazy thing of like when you pretend to live this other life, an opposing life to who you really are inside, you do it because you want to earn the approval, love, and acceptance from people. But really, they're not accepting the real you. They're accepting a falsified, a fake, pretend version of you. And so they're not really accepting and approving and loving the real you. Does that make sense? So you still don't feel lovable. You still don't feel enough. You still don't feel um, accepted because they're not accepting the real you because you're not allowing them to. And so this is all, a self-fulfilling prophecy that fear likes to do again and again and give you the exact circumstance that you're trying to avoid. And that's why I say the answers you seek, the magic you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding, which is your fear. So let's do it, yo. Let's freaking do this thing. Come join Fear Alchemy for coaches and healers. I'd love to have you. And with that, I'm out of here. Peace.